Hello beautiful people, I hope you're having an amazing day. You are a star, don't let anybody dim your light. It is another gorgeous, sunny, beautiful, blissful day. I had my 15th big mushroom trip, and I'm going to share with you some of the insights that I received from the beautiful plant medicine, okay? And yeah, there's one really important one, and I received a big vision in this, and I want to share this with you guys, and so you guys can spread the message, because this is super important, and this is something that was obviously channeled by the fungi, the beautiful fungi. We had a white rusty this time, rusty white. It was quite, I wouldn't say it's as deep as golden teachers, golden tops. The visuals were great, but there was definitely some strong visions and messages and rabbit holes that I was going through. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm a master trainer, nutrition coach, okay, and vegan lifter here. We give advice here on dating tips, okay, how to improve your mindset and how to improve your physique, okay, helping you pretty much level up your mindset, physique, and your wellness. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do, okay. So let's get into it. So one of the first questions that I got was, as I was having one of my candy bars, right? I had a protein bar, and I hadn't realized there was peanuts in it, right? I'm allergic to nuts, and it's been a big mystery as to why we're allergic to peanuts, right? And everything in nature has some sort of purpose, right? If it doesn't go with you, it's gonna go with someone else. You know, like the same way your body disintegrates into the earth, energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transferred, right? And you know, foods all have a purpose. Now, apparently we're not supposed to eat legumes or anything from under the ground. I don't know too much about that, but there may be a reason why we have these allergies. We still haven't quite figured it out. But I firsthand have terrible experiences with it. I'm not anaphylactic, but it can get really bad. I'll show you, for example, here, I accidentally had some cashews, and my reactions were fucking terrible. I thought I was gonna die. I couldn't breathe. I was getting sharp pains in my forearms here, and I was just like going like this, and I just thought I was gonna die. I was wishing love to my close family and you know, beautiful friends, and I was like, fuck, this is it. But anyways, long story short, I was having some of this protein bar, and there was some peanuts in it, and obviously my body's rejecting it, right? And I asked myself, why is my body rejecting peanuts, right? Is there a reason? Is it supposed to feed other creatures? And I realized, you know, I spat it in the ground. The ants were very quick to get it. I don't know if other animals have allergies as well, or I'm sure, you know, dogs can't have too much cacao, or, you know, they can't eat certain fruits, cats can't eat certain leaves. There's a reason for it, right? Everyone has some sort of genetic creation that allows them to eat only certain foods, whether it be allergies, sensitivities, celiac, blah, blah, blah. But what does it serve to other animals or other creatures or the planet when our body rejects these things? Or is it just a sort of glitch in the matrix? Anyways, that was one rabbit hole that I went through. Not that important, but made me realize, you know, everything has some sort of purpose, right? If it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to someone else. So don't worry about it. If you're not receiving something really well, just move on. You know, you got something. The universe is always gonna create space for something else for you that serves you, right? Then the next one was this obsession with gold. Why is it we have such a huge obsession with gold and silver and all these minerals, right? Gold, why? Well, one, it resonates really well with the human body, right? The frequency matches really well. It doesn't get you sick, and it's a very high vibratory mineral, right? Or I don't know if it's a mineral or a compound or whatever it is. There's been a story, right, that we were created as hybrids to harness gold for these giant beings, the Anunnaki they call it, for these brothers who found planet Earth and decided, you know what, let's modify these humans, right, and let's get them to help us collect a lot of gold. Now, if you do a bit of research around the gold, especially with Michael Tillinger, who's a South African researcher on these things, there's a lot of mystery behind it. Why is it we can't trace where all the gold is going? Number two, why are there certain mines in Africa? There are millions of mines in Africa that we still don't understand their purpose, right? And Africa is a huge place for gold, right? Why have they got these certain places where they've got these certain, let's say, situations where the frequency of these places, right? You just step in between two trees and the energy just changes, right? Is that some sort of teleportation for the gold to transfer to other ships? I don't know. This is just some of the things that I've seen, right? Why are we so obsessed with gold? Just because of how shiny it is, how beautiful it is, right? A way to show someone's wealth, right? Because it is scarce, right? We put a lot of values on things that are scarce, right? But we just have this obsession with gold, and it's been happening for a very long time. I can't eat it. It's not gonna improve the longevity, right? But you know, maybe it's just a status, or maybe there is a bigger purpose to it, because gold can be used to protect your skin from the certain UV rays, right? They have it. People use it as tints, and one of the reasons why they believe that the Anunnaki, the giant beings that came here, turned us into hybrid beings, wanted to use the gold as a way to protect their civilization from the UV rays, and they were running out. So they came here to harvest some gold, and no one knows the rest of the story. But there's a lot of gold here, and for whatever reason, we fucking love it, right? So that was like, how does it actually help us? That's the question that I have. Well, how does it actually help us? Now, the other one was, I was going through, after I had all these deep visions and realizations and questions and rabbit holes and I started to walk around the park, and I started to realize there's a lot of people who are doing fitness, and I saw a lot of flags, and I quickly started to realize, holy shit, we work for certain nations, right? We work for certain countries, right? With certain nations, right? This is what we do on a surface level. You either work for Australia or America or the UK or whatever it is, but you decide if you want to do that. You feed into that, right? And they want you to feed into that, because at the end of the day, all these people who are presidents and prime ministers are competing with who's got the most resources, who's got the biggest fucking economy, who's got the least amount of debt, who's got the least amount of taxes, who's worth the most. And ultimately, you are part of that. Especially, you see it in the sporting culture. And when you go back to ancient Rome, in the Colosseum, you'll realize that a lot of these things are sports. You being an athlete, you being a fucking performer, is a means to distract, you know, the people, the masses. And you know, you being this sort of athlete and wanting to be somebody, I get it. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be a rich football player. You know, I'd love to be a rich football player, because it would grant me so much freedom for my family, for myself, bring me so much wealth. But this path also leads to distracting a lot of people from, you know, vibrating higher, to freeing their mind, to really go into the real world, right? And you know, as I was walking through the park, I started to see shit, like we're actually all slaves, right? You know, to a degree, in our mind and on paper. You know, you're born with a certificate and a registration, and technically a lot of Australians are owned by America, and owned by America. You got to watch the documentary, The Straw Man, right? I think it's the Straw Man Theory or The Straw Man, and it goes into depths how you are a debt. You're born with $1 million, but you do not own that. The corporations of America own that, and they own you, right? So obviously you detach yourself from that. Once you free your mind, you know, you're no longer a slave, but you still have these obligations like paying taxes. Whose taxes are you really paying? Are you paying for your taxes, or are you paying for the country's taxes? And where is all this money going? And obviously, you know, you went through this rabbit hole, you ask yourself questions. Why am I working away, slaving away to pay taxes for all these people? How do we unplug was the question. Well, you can't really, because you're born into bondage with this system, and there is absolutely no escape unless you find countries and places where, you know, it's tax-free and they understand the go, and they don't have anyone watching over them, these elitists, right? These By the way, I wouldn't kill myself, just so you know. And so, you know, how do we unplug ourselves? Well, you detach. You obviously got to do these things because you need money, you need resources, you need food, you want to reach a certain level, and you just understand the game of it and, you know, stay on top of it. I know I've had my fair issues with it, but we move on. We've got two more. Plastic was a huge one that came up for me, and it wasn't the first time that it came up in one of my trips. The first time it did, I cried my eyes out. I was crying because I was connected to Gaia, and I could feel that Gaia, Mother Earth, was suffering so much because of all the wastage that we're putting into the earth, all the wastage that we're polluting, all the wastage that we're creating. That's destroying the planet. That's destroying the ecosystem. That's destroying us. But we're too ignorant. We're too caught up with materialism to see that. So that was a massive one. And the question, the rabbit hole I wanted to get into was, who created it? Who's behind it? Who's the mastermind behind selling plastic to all these economies to make a quick buck, right? To make a quick buck. Who is the mastermind behind this? I still haven't done my research around it. I don't want to get too into it right now because I know I'll get way too deep into it. And, you know, obviously there are times where you can and can't avoid it. And, you know, you just do what you can. You know, try to go waste free. This was a big one. Like, plastic is destroying us, and there's a lot of new alternatives coming up. I think I've seen one recently about this guy created one through plants, and it's biodegradable. You know, of course, they're not going to want to supply that. It's going to destroy a lot of companies, and, you know, we've just got to be more conscious of how we're shopping, how we're doing our groceries, how we're purchasing, right? Understand sometimes you need a quick bite of something, you know, and sometimes the packaging you'd have no control over, but let's be more conscious, eh? Like, we live here, we want to have fun, we want the future generations to enjoy this as well. And you have that power with your dollar. You have that power with your dollar. And then the last one, this is the most important one. This was huge, it was big. I had a huge vision and it wouldn't get out of my mind. I could see it so clearly, clear as day. And basically the vision was that, and this important message to humanity, was that there is a pit. There's this vision that I got. There was a pit, and there is a young girl coming out of the pit, right? And there was this soldier trying to pull her out, right? Soldier, it could be anyone. It was just a man trying to pull her out. And there's a lot of people already moving on. But there was this young one girl, and she was about to fall into this pit. And this pit, right, is the doom of humanity, right? And that little girl was a representation of the collective, our civilization, all of us. This is us. We are suffering. We are in that pit right now, and we are on the verge of an extinction. This is the last generation, right? This is the last opportunity, not to save humanity. It's not your job to save humanity, but we all have a responsibility to take care of each other, right? We all have to, like, look after one another, spread more kindness, spread more love, spread more awareness. And if we don't, that little girl who is us is gonna fall into that pit, and that is the end of our existence. That is literally the end of our suffering, because we won't have to suffer anymore. But we have to stop turning our backs on the rest of the world. We can't keep being ignorant. We can't keep choosing one side. This is not a one-sided thing. You know, we're all in this together. We are all one. We are all one, guys. Fuck, let's get our shit together. Let's look after each other. I've lost clients over this bloody bullshit war in Palestine, you know? I don't want to pick sides, but at the end of the day, I'm here to defend those who cannot defend themselves. It's why I've been vegan for 7 fucking years, because there are animals that cannot defend themselves, you know? So what can we do? Just raise more awareness, spread more kindness, be authentic. Don't work that, stop creating so much suffering in your life, because that's going to ultimately affect everyone else. Do what's right for you, follow your heart, follow your intuition, you know? The other thing that came up was the inspiration of a tree, and I had a little personal thing come up, and I was showing a lot of resistance to one side of my life, and that was my dark side. And I was too focused on the love and light. If you saw my last post on Instagram, you'll see it's a funny joke about love and light and darkness. The two awakened beings, one's awakened, one's woke, and we always have this battle, right? When you go through this awakening and you develop the spiritual ego. Anyway, the mushrooms was telling me, you are turning so much to one side, you've got so much resistance to your shadow side. Face it, face it, face it, face it. Don't avoid it. And this tree in front of me was showing me so much inspiration. Who would have thought you'd get inspiration from a beautiful tree, right? And it was a reminder that trees, no matter what season, they will stay as they are. They will stay still, and they know that they will continue to reap the fruits of their environment. And they're not chasing, they soak in the sun. They are so deeply rooted in who they are and what they are. They're not bothered by the external factors of the reality, right? They are strong, they are, I wouldn't say independent, they work together, they all communicate. You know, there's a lot of science coming through with that. But more so, trees are always centered no matter the season, right? No matter the season, they are always centered. And just like us, we've got to be more centered when there is chaos, when there is things happening on the outside constantly. Trust yourself, stay rooted, stay grounded, soak in your environment, and realize some days it's going to be dry, some days it's going to be wet, some days it's going to be super hot, some days it's going to be tough, it's going to be rough, it's going to be super windy. But the more you stay centered, the more you will reap what you've sown, right? You'll get those fruits of your wealth and success and love. But you've got to stay rooted and you've got to stay centered. That's the message that I have. That was my wild mushroom trip number 14 on this series. It was probably my 15th trip. It's very deep. And yeah, if you thought this was very important, like the video and share it with someone that you know. If you found this very important, those are the things that came up for me. And if you have any answers to these questions, just drop them down below. And let's raise more awareness around not just how beautiful this plant medicine is. Disclaimer, I'm just here to share my experiences. I'm not encouraging anyone to do that. Forgot to put that in the beginning. I'll put this in the beginning. But yeah, so plant medicine has a powerful way to talk to us and communicate with us. There's a reason why a lot of people are healing with this. There's a lot of reasons. There's so many reasons why more psychologists and therapists are backing this up, because they can see how much it's changing people's lives. It changed my life so much. It helped me grow, helped me evolve and go past my shadows and really look into myself and, unlock a lot of my potential. And, the key really is to integrate those new learnings and understanding and realizations and integrate them into your life, because there's no point doing these things. I see a lot of people who do have bad trips, because they have this resistance to this dark side, and it can turn out very heavy. And sometimes people get the most blissful, amazing, life-changing experience. And remind you, it's an experience, but they don't integrate that into their day-to-day life. And so there's no point consuming these things, whether it be ayahuasca, LSD, MDMA, all these things. Take it with a grain of salt, but be mindful that there are intentions behind it. There's a reason why they've been planted on this earth. That was another question that came up. Who put the gold? Who put the silver? Who put the foil, the aluminium? Who put the mushrooms on this planet? Has it always been here? There's a lot of mysteries that we've got to solve, and I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. And let me know what experiences that you've had on your mushroom trip, and how did it change your life? And did you have a bad experience? Let's start some conversation here. It's a safe space. I appreciate you. Let me know. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, I enjoy sharing this sort of stuff because I don't see too many of this on, in social media, especially on Instagram, YouTube. There's a lot of that stuff. So let me know. If you've got any questions, leave them down below or add us on the socials. We've got Daniel John Allen and on Snapchat and Instagram, and Wild Vegan Beast for my fitness and sort of mindset stuff there. TikTok, Daniel J. Allen for funny content, and for my master programs, go and check out danieljohnallen.com. Okay, we'll help you level up your mindset, your physique, and your overall wellness so we can get strong and healthy and really conquer our goals and dreams. I appreciate you. If you got this far, you're amazing. Keep on rising, stay woke, blessed, and alkalized. Peace out. Much love. Do you guys like the new setup? Do you guys like this cinematic, kind of clear. Anyways, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay woke. Stay woke.